Welcome to this episode of Our Quest. This is Dimple Mehta, and today we are going to talk about time management. How to manage time better with the same 24 hours, how to get more things done better. Please do subscribe to the show so that you get the latest episodes first. I am so grateful to you for taking out the time to listen to these episodes. Thank you so much, and I sincerely hope this one further contributes towards your growth. If you like the episode, give us a quick rating or review on Apple Podcasts. That helps the episode to organically reach more people who would find it beneficial and useful. You can also screenshot and share on Instagram and tag us at dimple.ourquest. More people can then listen and benefit from these. Joining us today for this wonderful discussion is somebody who walks the talk of time management. Director of the eMovers Group, UAE, Qatar, and India, Director of the Leather Doctor, and National Director of Corporate Connections, UAE. He is none other than Chirantan Joshi.
Welcome to the show, CJ.
Thank
How do you
Dimple.
feel about it?
I'm great. Thank you.
Are you excited about what we are going to record today?
Yes, absolutely.
I had a feeling that this topic is close to your heart
Yes, it is very, very close to my heart.
because I've always seen that you walk the talk. You're always at the top of your time.
Somehow I connect with the topic very well.
Awesome. So, diving straight in, I'll shoot you with the first question. Ordinarily, we assume managing time could be about being on the top of our to do list. But I don't think that's what exactly time management is all about, right? Would you explain to us what exactly do we understand by time management?
So thank you for asking that question in the beginning because it's very, very important we clarify that first. So my definition of time management is decide what you want to do, when you want to do, and do it. Just stick to it. That's time management. So we made it really, really simple. Plan what you're going to do and do it. So it has planning. It is also understanding of what you want to do, when you want to do, and execution, doing it when you want to do it. If you do all these things together, that's time management.
So it's not just about a to do list or just sticking to a timeline. It's got clarity, your thoughts, your goals, actioning it, and a lot more.
Yeah, it's deciding what you want to do, when you want to do, and do it. These three things.
Awesome. That's so broad and so focused at the same time. What can one achieve by managing the time right?
So time is the resource that all of us have same. So whether you are Bill Gates or Dimple or CJ, we have 24 hours. So if you have a resource that is limited for everybody, using that resource effectively will accelerate the journey. That's the best way.
Absolutely.
So since we have only 24 hours, if I'm managing my time well, I'm going to accelerate the whole journey, achieve balance in life. So these are the two big benefits I see by managing the time.
Achieving balance can also be achieved by just managing the time right.
Absolutely.
That's quite an in depth achievement by managing just one aspect of our life. And it seems quite powerful that by managing time, such big achievements can be made in life. How do you suggest can one manage time daily, given that life can be so busy and some of us get stuck in the hustle and bustle? So, how do you suggest we do it?
So Dimple, what I believe is, as mankind, for people, you need tools to manage anything.
Right?
Results come out of using the tools properly.
Right?
So there are some of the tools that I believe in. And if those tools are used properly, we automatically start walking on the journey of time management.
Awesome.
So these tools are, I have come up with these 5 tools. These
Okay.
are known to everybody. I've just bundled them together
Awesome.
under the time management.
Mhm.
And these tools are my favorite. One is starting with waiting list,
Okay.
having a daily task list in a particular format. And I will elaborate on all the tools while we speak.
Okay.
The third one is calendarizing.
Okay.
Fourth one is checklist.
Okay.
And the fifth one is www.
www.
And nobody, I wouldn't find anyone who's never heard of these tools. But there is a different way of using these tools, which I'm going to speak about today.
Definitely.
I think that will add a value to the whole subject of time management.
And we are excited to learn more.
Thank you. So the first is waiting list.
Okay.
So to give you an example, many times while you're driving, while you're having bath or while you're talking to a friend watching Netflix, things pop up in your head. And you decide, okay, once I finish this Netflix series, I will write it down somewhere. But by the time you finish that Netflix series, that thought is evaporated already.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you train your mind to have a waiting list ready in your phone, as soon as the thought comes, just write it down in your waiting list. I use to-do list or the Wonder List earlier it was called. Now Microsoft bought it, so it's to-do list.
Mhm.
I have created a waiting list folder there
Okay.
where as soon as a good thought comes in my mind or something that I want to act on, I write it down.
So no matter what you're doing, that thought crosses your mind and immediately you save it there.
Mobile is always with us.
Yes.
So it's very easy to write it down. It's
Yes.
always next to you.
Yes.
So use that tool of mobile and write it down in your waiting list. Once that waiting list gets built up, it's like the reservoir water. So if you're living in a villa, you have one tank on top of your villa in the terrace
Mhm.
and one water tank in your bathroom.
Mhm.
The bathroom tank is what you use for daily usage.
Definitely.
But the real water comes from the tank on the top.
Yeah.
So I call the waiting list as a reservoir water.
Yeah.
You collect all the water, collect all the thoughts, collect all the tasks there.
Yeah.
Some of that you will use, some of that you will not.
Yeah.
But many a times I have realized that some important thoughts just evaporate. And waiting list is the tool to catch these thoughts before they evaporate.
That's actually quite a genius trick, a genius way to do it, because thoughts sometimes they just flow and it's possible they don't come back to us.
Yeah.
So when you've saved it, you've got a hold on the thought.
And you need to also revisit the waiting list.
Yes.
So particularly me, every Saturday, I go back to my waiting list and I read my waiting list.
Awesome.
There are 50, 60, 100 items in the waiting list.
You could filter it.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Then you decide what you want to actually pick up. But
Right.
I don't want to let them go.
Yeah.
Because some of them are super important. They are not time bound, they are not urgent, but they are impactful thoughts. They're impactful tasks. I want to capture them. So that's why I'm a big believer of waiting list.
Amazing.
Yeah. So create waiting list is one tool,
Mm-hmm.
which basically using waiting list, you start walking on the path of time management.
Mm-hmm.
The second is your daily task list. Now,
Mhm.
a lot of people, everybody has a daily task list. I just have a little different format of how you do it
Okay.
on daily basis. I call that format as 135.
Hmm.
Because usually you start a day. I start it a day before.
So you decide on your 135 the previous night, probably.
Yeah.
Okay.
Previous night probably. And the reason I'll tell you, because when you write one day before, you haven't yet got into the rut of daily life, right?
Yeah.
So you don't see any objections when you're writing it down.
Mhm.
If you start writing it in the morning, there is already a call come or a complaint come or something other has already come to your lap.
Yeah.
Then you're thinking, okay, this is not going to happen.
Distractions.
Distractions
you mean.
have
Something
arrived already. Yeah.
Urgent or priorities. Yeah.
So I always write it one day before.
Yeah.
And the reason I've divided into 135 is because usually we try to finish the tasks which are smaller and the tasks that we love doing and the tasks which are more impactful and the tasks which are difficult gets left out.
Yeah, maybe because it feels like a more stressful work, a bigger task, something which is more important but may need more effort from us. We postpone it. Procrastination.
Absolutely. It happens, and that's
Yes.
why when you're writing 135, you make an effort
Yes.
to write that one thing
Yeah.
that has the maximum impact on your life.
So that becomes your number one.
That's number one.
Okay.
It is not time related.
So you push yourself that
Yeah.
that has to be done
Correct.
first.
So it is
Okay.
not time related. That
Mhm.
task is not the task that will take maximum time.
Mm.
It will create a maximum positive impact
Mm.
or will reduce the negative impact.
Yeah. So that's your first must do. That's the highest priority.
Correct. So for example, if you're in sales,
yeah.
Collection
Yeah.
could be one task that you want to meet a customer to collect your big outstanding payment.
Correct.
So if you're able to impact that task first, you're going to collect the money. So you're going to get a positive impact. versus let's say you have a large complaint that if you don't address it now, it's going to get into social media
Correct.
and it's going to even become bigger.
Correct.
Maybe you jump at it at the first hour in the morning so that you can control it and reduce the negative impact.
Correct. Correct.
So these are two examples of
Yeah.
what I mean by increasing the positive impact or reducing the negative impact.
Right. So, like, maybe that collection was on your first thing to be done as per your to-do list, but right now the higher priority is to handle this complaint. So you change your 135 and move this one top to one.
Depends on what is more important and
Yes.
what is more
Yes.
impactful at that point of time.
Yes. Yes.
So when you do your list, you have to have one maximum impactful item, three things which have medium impact, and five things which have less impact, irrespective of the time they take.
Mm-hmm.
Once you finish these 9 things, then you do other 9 things. Absolutely fine. Some people do 10 things, 20 things, 50 things. But if you just go on doing tasks, then you tend to forget the tasks which have maximum impact.
Yes. And you're just running around.
That is why we've designed this tool where you say you start your day with 1, 3, 5, finish your first task, which is maximum impact, 3 medium tasks, 3 medium impactful tasks, 5 smaller impact tasks, and then get on with your day.
But the way you explain it, I think if somebody can practically do that, 1 highest impact, 3 medium impact, and 5 small impact, I think they have already taken out pretty good utility out of their day.
Yeah. And this is, I'm speaking from experience. So
Yeah.
I have been writing 1, 3, 5 in my diary or phone or whatever medium suits you for last minimum 5 years. And I have
Wow.
seen the impact of it.
Wow.
So I have tried both, just making a task list of 20 things that I want to do
Yeah.
versus dividing my task list into 1, 3, 5.
And it works.
I have had more efficient days.
Yeah.
The day I write it in 1, 3, 5 format.
Yeah. And you would sleep better. You would know that you made good use of the day.
Absolutely. So,
And your to-do list gets shorter.
absolutely. So that's the second tool of bringing that waiting list into your task list. Sometimes when you finish these 9 tasks and or anything gets cancelled, you go back to your waiting list and pick up one task from a waiting list and bring it forward.
Wow.
So
So,
you
you're
could
not wasting time
not
at all.
at all, not at
Yeah.
all. Because many a times when your daily task list is either finished or something gets cancelled beyond your control,
Yeah.
then you have a free time,
Yeah.
and usually we tend to waste that free time.
Yeah.
So what I recommend is, because you already have a waiting list, you can quickly go and pick up some items from the waiting list and bring them to your daily task list and start doing those tasks.
That's amazing.
That way you can manage time.
That's amazing.
So these are two
Of the tools that you shared.
tools.
Yes.
The third one is calendarizing. Now we all use calendars.
Everybody talks about calendarizing,
Yeah.
but does it really work?
So I'll give you an example.
Okay.
So I start my calendar in the month of December
Okay.
for the whole year next year.
Okay.
So December 2021, I did the calendar for January for 12 months of 2022.
The macro ones, the big picture.
Yeah. So what you realize when you put things down on a paper or a whiteboard or a flip chart holder is uh, every task has a frequency.
Mm-hmm.
So there are certain tasks which have daily frequency, weekly frequency, monthly, quarterly, and periodically.
Yes.
So just to give you an example, I have my daily huddle.
With your team.
Management huddle.
Yes.
That's a daily task, except Sunday. Every day we have a daily huddle. Maybe there is a weekly sales meeting. It's a weekly frequency.
Yes.
Maybe there is a monthly board meeting. It's a monthly frequency. I'm giving work-related example, but if you check even in your personal life, you have things which you do at certain frequencies. Like I do my yoga 3 times a week.
Yes.
That's also a frequency
Yes.
that I'm following.
Yes.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Meditation, for example, has to be done every day.
Absolutely. Maybe you watch Netflix every day. That's a frequency. Half an hour of Netflix I watch every day.
Yeah.
It's a frequency every day, daily. There are certain things you do. I do my medical checkup once a year. It doesn't have a specific time, but it has to happen once a year for me to remain healthy.
Yes.
So I create some sort of frequency saying I'm going to visit a dentist once a year. It doesn't need to be in January, but somewhere in a year I have to have a frequency of visiting a dentist, doing my blood test, doing my urine test. So you create frequencies of your task and you just follow it.
Yeah.
So you take a whiteboard, for example,
Okay.
or a A3 paper,
Okay.
or an Excel sheet.
Okay.
and start writing what do I do daily, what do I do weekly, monthly, quarterly, and periodically, and start writing tasks. And you will see that almost all the things that you do have some frequency.
Mm-hmm.
Even we go out with our parents on a holiday has a frequency which is once a year.
Yes.
Even I throw a iftar party has a frequency once a year.
Yes.
So they look like normal tasks, but they actually have a frequency.
And they're consistent. They
They're
repeat.
consistent.
Yes.
They repeat.
Yes.
So once you plot them on a piece of paper or in an Excel, take them out of that Excel and put them in the calendar.
Yeah.
So to give you an example, if you ask me, in the month of September 2022, when are you cutting your hair? I can show you in my calendar right now, because cutting hair is a monthly frequency for me.
Okay.
I have blocked it for the whole year of 2022. So I don't need to think from my head. It's already gone into my computer. So there is a free space in my head
to actually focus on what you want to
Yes.
focus on.
So I feel that all the tasks we carry in our head should be offloaded in the calendar,
Right.
so that there is more space created in your head,
Right.
and you can better manage the time.
If only our brain could give us the notification that space is limited, free it up. Space is limited, free it up.
So this is my favorite tool, honestly.
Yeah.
And very successful people I've met in my life who keep on telling me that if it's not in your calendar, it will never get done. Which is so true.
That's so true.
Is so true.
Yeah.
So I'm a big fan of calendarizing, but using the calendar this way.
Yeah, the way you've explained that actually makes sense, because you're first focusing on the big picture and then narrowing it down to the smaller segments, and then whatever leftover space is there, other things will fill up.
So a lot of salespeople always argue with me whenever I talk to them and say, but I don't decide my time. My time is decided by my client.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't agree to that. And I'll again give you an example, because this bottleneck always comes from the sales team.
Yes.
Saying my client decides my time, so how can I block a client meeting in my calendar? I have given them one idea. I have also implemented that. So I'm in sales, I meet clients. So I block 4 meetings in a week. For example, 4 meetings to meet clients outside my office. So I say Monday 2 o'clock, Tuesday 3 o'clock, Wednesday 4 o'clock, and Thursday 5 o'clock. These are my slots blocked. If you're my client, when I want to meet with you, I will call you and say, Dimple, hi, how are you? I want to meet with you. Are you available on Monday 2 o'clock or Thursday 4 o'clock? 99%, because you are not planned, you will accept my invitation.
Definitely.
So in a way, I am forcing you to fit into the available slot for me.
Yeah.
Where the language is very important, that I'm not asking you, Dimple, when can we meet?
Right.
When we talk to each other, if you're my client, I'm asking, Dimple, can we meet on Monday 2 o'clock or Thursday 4 o'clock? Unknowingly, knowingly, you're just fitting into my calendar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Sometimes the client will be super adamant or super busy and not going to adjust to your calendar. But that's the situation you accept, because
you can still offer another choice.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
I also put free slots in my calendar.
Yeah.
So
For contingencies.
Yeah, contingency. Because every day there will be contingencies.
Yes.
So you also block contingency timing and give that time.
That's something very, very important that you've highlighted, that mostly people think when you're doing time management, you have to stick to a schedule, and the uncertain or the unknowable cannot be factored in. But when you're keeping a free slot for contingencies, you're allowing the uncertainties or the unknowables to happen, and you can still accommodate it.
Yeah. So this works. Works. However busy you are, even if you want to meet clients, because half of the world is not managing their time well, they automatically fit in your calendar slots.
So true.
So you get advantage of being planned, basically.
Yeah.
And I have experienced this I have tried so many times. I have told this to people, they have tried it. So this is a time and tested formula. This works.
Yeah.
So that's how I use the calendar, for example.
And personally, let me tell you, just while having this chat, I would like to think that I do manage my time up to some extent, but the way you've explained calendarizing, I personally feel that's magical, and I'm going to put that into application myself.
See, the life will change.
Yeah.
It's very powerful.
Yes.
The second last tool, it's my favorite. I call it like the Brahmastra of time management.
Okay.
It's called the WWW.
Yeah.
So what it means is having a committed conversation.
Okay.
You walk out of the meeting deciding who's going to do what they're going to do and by when they're doing.
Mhm.
because accountability is super important.
Yes.
And if people are not accountable, overall time management doesn't work. Even you lose your time if the other person is not accountable or not doing things which is supposed to do. So we've converted all our meetings, office meetings. There is no minutes of meetings anymore.
Okay.
The minutes of meetings is a table that is circulated of who is going to do what they are going to do. So basically, what, who, and when.
Okay.
So the minutes of meeting is now shortened to just one table.
Okay.
Everybody can read it,
Okay.
and it also puts a lot of pressure on that who to
Yeah.
finish that time, that particular task
Yeah.
at the agreed time. It has, if you ask me, uh, let's say out of the 5 tools that I'm going to tell you, if you're only going to follow one tool
Hmm.
that can create maximum impact,
Hmm.
I will say that is the www tool.
But isn't that genius? Because ultimately, what are we all doing? We are doing something within certain time, and who's doing it is relevant.
That's the definition of time management, actually,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But then because we are working in teams,
Hmm.
usually you waste time because your team is not sticking to the time.
Yeah.
Right?
So this creates accountability because
Yeah.
that person also has a deadline.
Because I have come across people who say I manage my time well,
But that one
but
doesn't.
my colleague doesn't, my
Yeah.
subordinates don't, my boss don't.
Yeah.
But then lock them in a tool called www.
Yeah.
Create that culture.
Yeah.
Of course, if you're in a managerial position, if you're at a senior position, creating that culture becomes easier.
Easier for you. Yes.
Because then there are people who are going to listen to you.
Yes.
But I have seen even implementing www where I'm not in a managerial position.
Yeah.
Just because you start doing it and people start seeing results,
Yeah.
even your bosses start
Like to
following that.
practice that.
Yeah, like to
And you
practice
can
it.
apply it in your daily life as well, not just in your work.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it
I mean, you've
creates
got
an
a
amazing
kid.
culture at home.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because when we talk to my son, my wife, we say, okay, great, when,
Yeah.
and who's going to do it.
Yeah.
So sort of, it's called committed conversation.
Yeah.
We are not walking out of that room without taking a commitment from
Yeah.
you to
Yeah.
do it and when you're going to do it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Only one rule you add to that. Let's say you're going to say, I'm going to do this task tomorrow before 4 o'clock. And if it's not happening for whatever reasons beyond your control, it's your responsibility to update me at 2 o'clock, 2 hours, 3 hours before. That sorry, due to these reasons, this is not happening. The new WW is day after tomorrow, 2 o'clock.
So it's practical.
It's very practical.
It's not rigid. Yeah.
It's not at all rigid.
Yeah.
Because you have the freedom
Yeah.
to accommodate
Mm.
external factors.
Mm.
But at least now you have a new schedule
Yeah.
of doing it.
Yeah.
And that table gets modified.
Yeah.
It works wonders in the office
The
if you
main
follow
thing
it.
is the goal is in place and action is being taken. There can be slight delay or modification, but it will happen. Yeah.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
that's again, if you ask me what's my favorite, then this is my favorite tool. And last but not the least, the tool is called checklist.
Okay.
Okay. So I don't know whether I would highly recommend to read a book called Checklist Manifesto by Dr. Atul Gawande.
Okay.
It's a lovely book, and
Thank you.
it talks a lot about checklist.
Okay.
So multiple tasks again in a checklist. Every business, you know that if you don't check certain things, the train will derail.
Yeah. Yeah.
From experience, because we all have been in business for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, you learned over the period that if I don't check this checkpoint, the train is going to be derailed.
Definitely.
Write down all those checkpoints which have a larger impact on your business,
Mm-hmm.
and put them again in a frequency of who is going to check it, when they are going to check it, okay, and what they are going to check it, which is the task. Assign those responsibilities to your team if you're a team manager. If you are supposed to manage it, assign it to yourself, and just visit that checklist once a week. You see that checklist tasks are falling in place, so you're not slipping anything, you're not missing anything from the checklist.
It's like evaluation.
Yeah. So in my business, just to give you an example, in my one of my businesses, I have a 56-point checklist.
56-point checklist.
If I check those 56 points at a certain frequency that I have written down from my experience, my business will be on track.
That's amazing.
Okay. Now imagine I have a pretty large business. If that business can be managed with 56 checkpoints, and all those checkpoints can be managed by investing 2 hours in a day, how much time do I have free on hand now?
Remaining 22 hours is all yours to decide whatever you want to do.
Whereas if I had no checklist, all those points would be in my head, and I will try to do them as and when I remember,
Yeah.
and I will feel being busy.
Yes.
I'll just be busy, but that's
Not really productive.
Yeah, not really
Yeah.
productive.
Yes.
Now, when I sit with my checklist, I give my dedicated 1 hour, 2 hours to go through my checklist. I make sure that either I do those tasks or call those managers who are supposed to do that task, but it's out of my head. It's like the operation theater, it's like the pilot. They cannot remember everything. But
Yeah.
if the pilot doesn't follow the checklist, there will be accidents.
Yes.
If doctor doesn't follow the checklist in operation theater, there will be deaths.
Definitely.
In business, if a manager, an entrepreneur, or somebody, a team player doesn't follow a checklist, there will be losses.
Definitely.
So there is a direct correlation of having an accurate checklist. You don't build an accurate checklist on day one, but start the journey, and you will realize that over the period of few weeks, few months, few years, I have been building my checklist for last 6-7 years. It's been refined again and again and again. But at certain stage, it does the job. You can save life, in an operation theater. So I can save losses in my business. So that's my 5 tools. So just to quickly summarize, because we've been talking for long about these 5 tools, it starts with waiting list. Then you go to 135 daily tasks. Then you calendarize your whole day, whole year actually. You do the www format, and you have a checklist. If you have these 5 things and you follow it, you start walking on the journey called time management. You will never reach a destination, but you've started your journey, you've begun your journey, and you can accelerate that process of walking on your journey of time management.
That sounds so simple when you say it like that. However, the concern on my mind is that sometimes we may not be aware that we aren't managing the time right. Sometimes maybe I'm just under the false impression that I'm doing it right. So, how to know whether I'm managing my time right or not?
Great question, Dimple. I think in life, to check anything, you need to follow the leading indicators. There are some indicators you start seeing it before things actually happen. So, a leading indicator for not managing your time is not reaching anywhere on time. Start missing tasks from your list, uh, writing it down, committing to it, but not doing it. These are some of the leading indicators where you need to introspect and see whether is your time management process right. Are you overcommitting, or you just need to see somebody who can guide you on the time management path really? So life starts giving you those leading indicators. You just need to be keep your antenna switched on to catch the right signals for these leading indicators.
For that, you need to retrospect yourself.
Yes. Or you have an accountability partner who starts telling you that these are the things that it's not working for you.
Sounds fair.
Either you are your own accountability partner, or if you're not that strong, then have an accountability partner.
Fair enough. Yeah. Which brings me to the final question that I would like to shoot today for you. I know you've already emphasized on how important it is to manage time. Let's have a look at the downside. How bad could it be when one fails to manage their time?
So it can decelerate your growth.
Yes.
That's one immediate result that you can see.
Yes.
Because with proper time management, you can accelerate. With poor time management, you can decelerate growth. And you start feeling imbalance. It could be work-life imbalance. It could be pleasure-work imbalance. So you start feeling that imbalance in your life, I feel.
And in the end, when any sort of imbalance happens, it would affect you emotionally, maybe up to the extent that your health is impacted, or a lot of things could go wrong.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So just to conclude on the overall time management journey, what I have realized after walking on this path for few years now is we all get derailed.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's
we are
normal.
humans.
It's
It's
okay.
very normal. So I meet people who say, I did it for 2 months, that I didn't do it, so I'm not going to try it again. No, but even I don't do it sometimes. Even though I'm preaching time management, sometimes I miserably fail. It's okay to derail. It's the fact of acknowledging that I'm okay to derail, and I have derailed. So I'm going to go back to my routine again.
Yeah.
and let me bring the train back on track.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
once you acknowledge, you accept
Yeah.
and make the effort to bring the train back on track,
Yeah.
you're already doing amazing.
Yeah.
You're walking on the journey of time management. So accept that fact that we are all going to derail. That's very important.
Yeah, it's quite simple, but it's important. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Thank you so much for these insightful and deep thoughts. You've made it sound super, super simple. It was so breezy, but whatever you have shared with us, it's gold for people who want to apply and exponentially change their lives. It's so in depth, crisply pointed out by you, and very precisely articulated.
Thank you, Dimple, for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You have been listening to Our Quest. Thank you for your time again. If you haven't already, please give us a quick rating on Apple Podcast, and don't forget, you can follow us on Instagram or share your screenshot of the podcast and tag us. Links in description. See you next week, same time, same place.